You're on a path to discovering your gifts and superpowers, right? Because you want to create value for others and make the best and biggest impact that you can on those who are in your sphere of influence by utilizing your gifts and superpowers to make that impact in their lives. Well, have you ever noticed that some of the best moments of impact often come when you least expect them? So what if I told you that having a tight grip on planning and control is actually something that's blocking your opportunity, maybe your greatest opportunity, to serve others? And here's something else that you might want to think about. It may shift some of your thoughts a little bit. What if letting go of all that isn't about giving up on dreams? What if letting go of everything isn't about giving up on dreams or goals or anything, but you're actually creating the space for something even more meaningful than you could have possibly imagined? Now, my name is Jake Talbert. I'm the founder and author of the GIVER method. And today I want to explore something that really could change you and help you to make that greater impact. And that's how you can just release control and the planning and trying to figure it all out. And by doing that, actually amplify your ability to create meaningful impact and serve others more authentically. Now, before we dive into that, if you are new here, please subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, like the video, comment your thoughts along the way. I always love to hear what people think. You can also find us at thegivermethod.com, or with the book that we have coming out, The GIVER Method, next month. You could go to thegivermethodbook.com, get onto the early release list. There's some bonuses that you can take advantage of when you do that. So find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of those places. We want you to subscribe. We want you to be a part of all that because we don't want you to miss out on any of the conversations that we have about unleashing your gifts and creating more meaningful impact. Now, I mentioned the GIVER method a lot, and so I want to give it a quick rundown, but naturally you can go to other videos on the channel and see a full breakdown, a really in-depth breakdown of what the GIVER method is. But the GIVER method, GIVER is an acronym where essentially what we're trying to do is help people to discover and develop their unique gifts and superpowers so that they can go to their sphere of influence and create value for those individuals, and so that each engagement is as effective and eager, each discussion, interaction, all of those, that they're as effective as possible so that you can have deeper, more meaningful relationships, what I call relationship riches, and you can create more of an impact because you're stepping into who it is that you're meant to be. And by doing so, you're essentially inviting the universe to pay you back. Now, this concept of letting go plays perfectly into that, because when you let go in that way, now you're trusting that the universe is going to put you on the right path. So we're going to be diving into a lot of that. Now, as I go through these principles, I'm going to cover whatever the topic is, or the principle or the idea, and then I'm going to share with you an action item. So I recommend that you grab a piece of paper or open up a note so you can jot down your thoughts on those action items as you go. That way, you can actually take that and start making an impact today or this week. Like, it's great that you're here on the video, but naturally, it's about what you do after this. It's about the action that you take and the steps you take after watching this that are truly going to see that shift and that change for you. So let's go through these principles on mastering the art of just letting go while becoming a more impactful giver. And so the first one is there's a power in creating empty space. So before you can fill a cup, it has to be emptied. So similarly to that idea, like, we often need to just release any of our preconceived notions or expectations about how we can serve others and enter situations, with a full cup of assumptions. Like, when we enter with a full cup of assumptions, it limits our ability to truly connect and understand what's needed. So letting go of whatever that is and just being there and present, it creates space for authentic and meaningful service to emerge from it. Now, you adapt a mindset of, you do this by adapting a mindset of curiosity when you're interacting with others. Instead of assuming you know what anyone needs or what they need in that moment, you take the moment and you pause and you listen and you ask clarifying questions to it. You approach each situation as a learner, allowing their needs to come out and your gifts to align naturally with what those are. So this sort of an openness often leads to really surprising and impactful connections. And so the first action item here is that you want to practice emptying your cup, like this empty cup giving, before whatever that next engagement, interaction, discussion, whatever where you're aiming to help somebody. Just take a deep breath and silently think, like, I'm going to release my assumptions. I want you to enter that conversation with genuine desire to learn about their needs and reflect afterward on how their openness influenced and how your openness influenced the outcome. Now, the second one is that you need to become unattached, like create a non-attachment plan, because attachment to specific outcomes can really weigh us down, especially when we're focusing on serving others. Like, having clear intentions is essential. Clinging on to how our efforts should be received often limits our impact. And so you have to let go of those expectations and allow yourself to embrace the present moment and trust that your giving is valuable, even if it doesn't uphold to what you planned it to be. And so what you want to do is you want to set your intentions with clarity, but release the need to control how your gifts and superpowers are received. Trust that efforts that you give, they're going to ripple outward in ways that you may never see. So it's always good to also document instances where maybe you surrendered or gave up those expectations, and look for the ways that maybe it surprised you, or you found more fulfilling results, or it reinforced the value of this non-attachment. And so action item here is going to be like, to do that, document it. Create some sort of a journal, a log, or whatever of letting go. And each time you catch yourself clinging on to an expectation about giving, jot it down and reflect on moments when letting go led to better outcomes than you possibly imagined. You can use this log to remind yourself of this power of just surrender. Now, our third one is going to be, there's a gateway with uncertainty. Uncertainty is many times feels uncomfortable for people, especially when you're eager to serve them as effectively as possible. Yet, it's in these moments of, uncertainty or ambiguity that our most authentic and creative gifts often come to light. So embracing uncertainty allows us to move forward with courage, discovering new ways to make an impact. And so instead of maybe fearing uncertainty, like, reframe it as an opportunity for growth and exploration. Take small steps towards helping, even if you don't have any sort of a clear path. Like, this willingness to just act in the face of the ambiguity, like, it leads to unexpected breakthroughs and a deeper understanding of your gifts. These are ways that the universe starts paying you back for that. So your action item here, identify maybe one situation where uncertainty maybe is holding you back from helping someone, and commit to taking just one small step this week, whether it's reaching out to them or offering a resource or simply listening. And as you do that, reflect on what emerges from doing that action. Now, our fourth one, we talk a lot about getting into the flow state. And so there's this idea of the flow state of service. Being a true giver and having impact comes when you align with the natural flow of what's needed rather than forcing our way in. The flow state of service is about listening and adapting and really staying present in the moment, allowing your gifts to meet the moment organically. And so this sort of an alignment is going to lead to a greater ease and probably multiplied impact from there. So what you want to do is you just pay attention to the cues around you, both they could be verbal, nonverbal, and let them guide you in how you serve. Stay as flexible and responsive as you can, because you're going to want to adjust your approach to the different situations, and then just trust your willingness to adapt and find the ways that it's going to enhance your ability to give more meaningfully. So the action step here, practice this sort of idea of a flow state service or a flow state giving. Choose maybe one engagement or interaction this week and approach it with total responsiveness. Like, just let go of any sort of a rigid plan and focus instead on just being present. Afterward, reflect on how maybe this adaptability influenced the experience or changed the outcome that there could have been. Now, the fifth one, this is where we really start diving into we're trusting the universe, is that the fifth one is there's having faith in timing. We often feel this need to rush our efforts, forcing opportunities to serve before their time. Trusting that, trusting in a divine timing means that believing that your gifts will be called upon when they're truly needed. This sort of faith allows you to stay steady without becoming forceful or impatient. So each day, remind yourself that your contributions will impact when they're aligned with the right moment. You just want to focus on being prepared and being present in the moments and trusting that the opportunities were going to naturally arise. And nothing's more awkward than trying to force your service, your gifts, your superpowers to someone who maybe isn't ready or isn't in the right place to receive them. So look for examples in your life where trusting, maybe timing led to more meaningful outcomes. Your action item here, honestly, in the mornings, you should affirm yourself to, remind yourself what your intentions are, what am I trying to accomplish, and also reaffirm yourself that you trust that your gifts will be needed in the perfect time for the right person. And then throughout the day, look for the moments. Notice the moments when opportunities maybe arise organically, and really celebrate those instances as proof of timing, that the universe is finding its way and it's timing to put you in the right place. Now, the sixth one there's wisdom in surrender. Surrendering, I mean, it doesn't mean giving up. It means, really discerning what you can influence and what you need to release. Like this sort of a wisdom, this sort of an idea allows us to focus on, the energy where it matters most. Like, where do I want to put my energy and where does it matter most? And trust that the universe is just going to handle the rest for you. Surrender, like, it creates space for your gifts to just flow more freely. So what you want to do is take stock of your current goals and identify areas where maybe you're trying to control them too much. And then for each aspect, like, ask yourself, is this within my influence, or do I need to let this go? And practice that sort of a discernment regularly. It's going to help you to create and foster this clarity and really peace within yourself of where you're going. So action item, what that's going to look like is you almost need to create like it's not like a pros and cons list, but it's like a surrender and action list where, you're going to look at your current giving goals. Like, what are we trying to do? And divide tasks into maybe 2 categories. Like, what can you actively influence and what do you need to release? And then focus on your efforts on actual items. Like, consciously let go of the rest and just let it come naturally in the situation. And of course, the 7th one is going to be like, there's a legacy of trust that's created. Like, when we give freely, and just trust the process, we inspire others to do the same. Letting go of control, it does actually create a positive ripple effect, showing those around you that, true giving comes from a place of just authenticity and faith in what's going to come from it. This sort of a legacy, encourages others to embrace the art of letting go in their own lives. So, maybe document your journey of learning to trust and release control, and look for the ways that you can share those insights and experiences with others, emphasizing maybe the freedom or the fulfillment that can come from letting go. And your openness, it can really inspire those around you to approach their own gifts with more freedom and more authenticity. So your action step here is going to be, create a trust journal, I guess. Write down moments when you chose to release control and the outcomes that followed, and then share that story. Take one story you have in your journal and share it with maybe a family member or a friend or, a colleague or a mentor, and look for the ways that we can encourage others to explore their own journey with trust. Now, along the way, there are often common struggles that people experience, so I want to cover what some of those are, maybe give you some ideas. So one is the fear of ineffective giving, that the solution you have is ineffective. So just trust that authentic giving, even without perfect control, really will create more meaningful impact for you. Another thing I see is that there's a need to see results from that. I need to see results in this, what I'm doing. So focus on the quality of your giving rather than measuring immediate outcomes. We have videos on the channel where it talks about measuring the immeasurable, because a lot of these things, being able to actually tell what's working, you have to be really paying attention to what those are. But remind yourself that if we're letting go, it's not about what those measurables are. It's about just being there and present. Another struggle that I see is that there's this idea of perfectionism and having to serve in the right way. Just embrace imperfect action over perfect action. Perfect inaction in sharing your gifts, nothing's happening. Imperfect action, we are still able to take those small steps moving forward. And then the other one is the other struggle that often is almost feeling an over responsibility for others' growth. And so remember that your role is to offer your gifts, not control how others use them. So set boundaries and set barriers. Once again, there's a bunch of videos on the channel where we break that sort of a concept down. Because letting go isn't about becoming passive in your giving in any way. It's really about trusting that your authentic gifts offered with any sort of pure intention, they're gonna create that ripple of impact beyond what you could have controlled or what you could have planned. And so if you're wanting to make that greatest impact, if you're wanting to utilize your gifts and superpowers to really make the impact and change other people's lives, those in your sphere of influence, delivering value to them, then in many cases you just have to let go and trust that the universe has your back, and they're going to find the way to get you there. They're going to find the opportunities for you to be able to give of your gifts and superpowers, and it will be the right person at the right time. Now, if you're ready to explore more on how you can let go of these types of things, how you can enhance your impact with your gifts and superpowers, then you're going to want to go to thegivermethod.com and sign up for our newsletter list, or go to thegivermethodbook.com and sign up for the pre-launch list, where there are some bonuses. What we do is we're going to notify you about when the book's coming out and send you newsletter details where you're going to receive exclusive insights about creating value through trust and surrender. Now, if on top of that, we're going to focus a lot on the developing gifts and superpowers, and creating more value in your world, and making a greater impact. So if this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who might need this. In the comments, tell us about a time where maybe you let go and it allowed you to serve others more effectively, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to help them along in their journey. And so until next time, please just keep growing and keep giving. And remember that sometimes your greatest impact comes from just letting go and trusting the process. The world's waiting for you to step into who it is that you're meant to be, and waiting for you to be able to make that impact that you were born to make. And so sometimes it's a matter of just letting go and going to serve in the best way possible, authentically, and letting go in order to allow that to happen. And so until next time, have a great rest of your day.